Are you ready to think big and act bold? Then you are in the right place. This is Innovative Entrepreneurs, a podcast that will bring you the stories, insights, and tips from some of the most successful and innovative entrepreneurs in the world. I am your host, Erica Bailey, and I am here to help you start, scale, and sustain your own entrepreneurial journey. Let's get started.
Our shit was not together. So just do it. Just move forward and learn as you go and be adaptable.
And he's like, yes, the medications are on their way. And I fell to my knees and I cried. And I'm like, I did that. I did that by myself on my iPhone and my Facebook and my Twitter.
There was like a 2 or 3 month period where I was like, is this even gonna work? Did I just put us even more into the hole after being laid off?
Welcome to Innovative Entrepreneurs. My name is Erica Bailey. I have Spencer Rich with me again.
What's up, guys?
And today we are gonna talk about, say it again?
I'm typing out our title in my notes. The mindset of a hungry entrepreneur.
But I thought you were
Is it entrepreneur? Nur? Or how do you pronounce that?
Entrepreneur.
Newer.
Yeah, but we're not entrepreneurs. We are business owners.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
The mindset of a hungry business owner. I have corrected myself.
Yeah, I mean, call us entrepreneurs. It really doesn't matter. Okay.
To start this out. Who's Erica? Who are you?
I'm sitting right here.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
My name is Erica Bailey.
Nice to meet you.
It is nice to meet you.
What is your background?
Who am I? Okay.
I mean that on a deeper level, bro.
Okay. It's gonna be one of these episodes. Okay.
I guess in relation to being a business owner, who are you?
I am a woman still trying to figure out her direction. I am a woman who is trying to build self-confidence and self-worth in order to achieve my ultimate goal, which is helping as many people as possible and providing generational wealth to my kids.
Notice how in the beginning of that, she didn't say, I have it all together and I just want money. She's like, I'm not perfect and I want to create a great life for my kids. So I love that.
I am learning every day. So I am also a mother, a wife, and I have amazing kids, but I find that I need more in order to be fulfilled. I have all this love around me, but there's a void in there. And so I'm trying to work through that with my coach and figure out why I feel this way, because part of me knows I'm a badass. You know what I mean? But the truth is I have a lot of fear that I got to work through. So I
think that's part of what makes you and people in general is a badass of I have this mission, but I'm going to go forward, although I'm scared, and I'm going to do it anyway. Not knowing the answers and not knowing 4 steps from now what's going to happen, but I'm going to do the next 2 steps and hope for the best. That's what makes you a badass.
Yeah. Well, it's getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's how you get there.
There we go. So a little bit of an intro on myself. I am a naive 26-year-old. Just kidding. I am a 26-year-old. I'm a father. I'm a dad. I'm a business owner.
Your husband.
To talk shit on podcasts. And
your husband. You totally missed. You said I'm a father. You totally missed. I'm a husband.
I have a lot of hats that I wear.
There you go.
I am a proud husband of my beautiful wife.
There you go.
And I am someone that craves freedom, time freedom specifically, way over money. But also money's pretty cool. Let's be honest here. So yeah, I guess in relation to who I am as a business owner, that rewinds quite a bit. I started in the workforce when I was 14 or something. I was throwing papers at people's doors.
Throwing paper routes.
I was literally my mom had her trunk open and we were running out of the van and would throw the paper at the door, and it was like 5:30 a.m. and my mom would work her ass off to make sure that we were provided for. She has a killer Harry Potter ringtone.
I do, and the problem is I can't find my phone, so I'm going off camera for a minute.
I have a 26-year-old, and I did paper routes when I was 14, and my mom is just an absolute badass, and she provided for us, and she was nurturing, and she was all the good things that a mother is, but she taught me work ethic. But growing up, I never had to worry about where a meal would come from, and I grew up well, and my parents did an amazing job. But when I was growing up, I was like, damn, I want abundance. Like, I want to be able to walk into a store, and if I see 2 pairs of buckle jeans, which are atrociously expensive, I want to buy that if I have them. Like, I just want to be able to do that without even looking into my account. If I have a restaurant that I want to take my wife to on a random Tuesday afternoon, I want to have to answer to no one. I want to be able to go do those things. So those are all kind of a mindset that I, developed as my teenage years went on into my 20s, and I was doing different jobs, and I was looking for fulfillment in my jobs, which is like, jobs are awesome. Like, I'm not trying to down on them. I was just saying I was looking for something different. And so eventually, after just getting really fed up's an understatement, but fed up with corporate America and the limitations that were there.
Yes.
If you enjoy corporate America, awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
There
It works for you.
Like, that want that stability. Stability's nice. And that awesome for you. I was looking for something different because, like, there were times when I was like, my wife is pregnant, she's sick, I need some time off. They're like, sucks to suck, find someone to cover your shift. And I was like, this blows. Like, that was like my life selling t-shirts out of the mall. And I was like, I've got to look into something else. So I tried several different business ventures, network marketing, pressure washing. I had like so many failed businesses, so many. And my wife is just sitting here rolling her eyes and like believing in me as a husband, but also like, when is this going to eventually land into something that's going to like actually pay our bills? So all of that long-winded stuff led up to me being 26. Beginning of 2023, I started Nomad Media back then, which is now Nomad Video Strategies.
Because somebody told you to do what? I told you to, I taught you. See, I'm mentoring you, right? I told you, hey, get your LLC and make sure your name is okay. So, but I think you changed it to something beautiful. So
it's something that's a little bit more aligned with what I do.
Yes.
But basically, I don't feel like I would have been equipped to be a business. I'm still nowhere near as equipped as I want to be, but equipped enough to be a business owner without the experiences that I've had to this point of like, I definitely don't want this. I don't know how to get this yet, but damn, I'm going to keep going until I get it. And there's some mindset around that I want to talk about today. So what made you want to become an entrepreneur, and where were you previously?
So I started working at 14 too. I was bussing tables at a pizza place.
Yeah.
I always worked from that point. And a lot of it was in the food industry. I was a waitress. I was a soda jerk. I was a ice cream scooper.
Wow.
And then I fell for one of those MLM things, go out and sell perfume and, we're gonna make you millionaires. So I fell for something like that. Then I went back to school and I got my bachelor's degree in justice studies and social inquiry. And I wanted to be an FBI profiler. I worked in mental health for 5 years.
That explains so much about you.
But ended up not, right? And so it was ups and downs. I got married and I was working at an estate planning firm. And I had been there for 5 years and I felt like I deserved a promotion. I felt like I deserved the opportunity to grow in the firm. And when I asked for that, when I finally got the balls as a 25-year-old, girl or 26-year-old girl to ask for that, sorry, if you didn't like that, then don't listen. And I was told that I couldn't move up because I was the mother of a young child and needed to be at home more with them. So I think I went to work for 2 more days. And then I packed up and I went home and I applied for my master's degree. And my husband said, when he got home, I said, I quit and applied for my master's degree.
How was his reaction?
It's a worthless piece of paper. We joke about that to this day, but he was wrong. He wasn't happy because I didn't even ask him, right? I just decided. So, we both worked. I started working in like SEO, and back then it was kind of like the black hat, like, backlinking as many places as you can. And it was a totally different world. And I was doing that while I was getting my master's degree. And Jason, he was writing copy. He was a copywriter. His degree is in technical communications. So writing books for training,
For context, Jason's husband.
So he was cool about content before it was cool. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
So he did that for a while, and it was 2007. The market had just crashed, and in Arizona, this is a huge, huge thing because we lived around housing, and that was the biggest thing that kind of made Arizona tick. We were growing, and then the boom hit, and like all of these construction companies went dead, went gone. People were always looking for work, and so a person with a master's degree or 15 years of experience would have to go back to work for $15 an hour just to have some income coming in, because business owners knew that they had no other choice, right? So I was like, this is not going to work for me. I am not meant for corporate America, and I learned that when I was told that at the law firm, right? And so Jason and I said, you know what? We've been working in marketing for a little while. I mean, we can do this. I mean, and we did do it. We're 15 years in. But I look back now and I'm thinking every penny that we had to use in order to raise our children came from blood, sweat, and tears. We didn't have any money to start with, zero. We were maxed out on whatever little limit credit cards we had. We had 2 children at the time to raise, and then Jaden came, and we would use the money that our parents sent us for Christmas in order to buy presents for our kids. Like, that's how we struggled. Wow. And we started, and all of our clients that we started with, I mean, we were chasing money. We didn't know. We didn't know you shouldn't chase money. You don't need to chase money. As I know now, it's a totally different mindset. But I had to manage our bank account to the dollar. And my poor husband would stop, and he would go and he would get a Mountain Dew or Pepsi or Coke at that time. And I'd be like, you can't spend $2 right now. We don't have it. Our bank account's going to go over, John. Like, my husband couldn't buy his own dang drink that he wanted because we were counting pennies. Like, that's how we started. It was hard.
I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs that can really relate to that. Like, I've definitely had seasons in my life where, like, no one wants to talk about that online. They don't want to show the fact that, like, oh, sometimes I'm not financially literate. Sometimes I had a dream and I put every ounce of my credit cards into feeling that dream. And that's not pretty, but I believed in myself. And like, you're vocalizing that. And I think there's a lot of people in the audience that are like, maybe they're debating on starting a business and they're like, maybe they're in that spot. I don't know, to each their own. But like, you're showing that, yes, you can believe in yourself and you can make those leaps and you can still do it even in those situations and it will get better, but you don't have to have all of your ducks in a row to start. So.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But what about you? Like, I know you have some of the same stories.
Yeah. So what made me want to become an entrepreneur? Where was I previously? Again, corporate America. I actually was laid off in February.
Whenever.
I went on a 3-month paternity leave and I woke up on a random Thursday morning to, you no longer have a job. And I had already started several businesses and I was already had some entrepreneurial mindset around that. I was already doing stuff from like 5 to 9 basically to like try and build something outside of my 9 to 5. But basically that week, I tell this to people all the time that are like clients, it's like I sent out 100 LinkedIn applications within a week of being laid off to different customer service roles. And I think like 5 to 10 of them got back to me. And of those, like 3 of them interviewed And then like one of them ended up giving me a job offer that didn't even make sense because I was just mass applying for jobs. So I was like, I can either apply for 100 more jobs and hope that they pan out while I have 2 kids to feed, or I can do something while this is happening, and I can keep applying for jobs while bringing in income.
Yes.
I don't want to play victim. I can be proactive. I can go do this. And so I was doing some different like airsoft and like video editing for like miscellaneous hobbies that I was doing. And I was like, well, I can do. I had a YouTube channel. I just started this YouTube channel actually, like in paternity leave prior to the layoff, because I wanted something to do while I was on paternity leave. And I was like editing things, and I was like, well, I could probably make a little bit of money off of editing. And so I started doing some editing for people, and editing turned into, well, maybe I could like film a thing or two. Like that's kind of fun. And so I started using my phone on a gimbal, and I was like filming people, and then that turned into like, I should probably get a camera. And so I got a camera, and now here we are 9 months later, and I have a full-fledged video production company, and it's incredibly fun. And I was like, wow, like what a 9-10 month journey that it's been. So what made me want to become the entrepreneur to begin with? Well, one, it was forced, and I kind of had to. But second, like there's also a really positive byproduct to that of like, I want time freedom. I want to be able to wake up on a random Tuesday, go on a walk with my daughter and my wife if I want to, my amazing family. And I don't want some boss to be like, sorry, bud, you don't have enough PTO days. Screw off. And so I wanted to be radically in charge of my own time.
Yes, absolutely.
Again, nothing wrong with corporate America if that's for you. That's totally chill. But like, I wanted a different lifestyle than that. And so like, yes, there's a negative dream that was like making me run away, and like, but there's also a positive one on the other side of that that's like, here's what's on the other side if you keep hustling. And I'm not here to promote, like, I think you and I might have different perspectives on hustle culture, but I want to live a life that I can eventually slow down a little bit, and I want to be able to like not run super hard and make all the money in the world long term. I want to get to a point where I'm making a consistent, fair amount of money, and then just like relax a little bit.
I'm not saying that is wrong. Okay,
Right.
so I need to back myself up here because I got nobody else.
I didn't mean that in a way of like attacking.
No, I get it. I know you didn't. But you are a hustler. You are badass. Like, I've known you for 2 months, 2.5 months, right?
Something like that.
Something like that.
That time frame sounds about right.
And I feel like I have known you for 10 years. Like, adding you to my tribe and us combining services has been the best decision I've probably made in 15 years. Okay, but 4 months ago, right, you were a completely different business. So...
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And we'll talk about that in just a second. But here's the thing. I want you to have some money and be able to go golfing and to be able to buy what you need.
She knows me so well.
But I'm trying to make sure as I mentor you that you understand that that's great if you have consistent, stable income, but you need to be prepared for times that are hard.
Valid.
Because he is 26-year-old, wonderful young man trying to start a business. And if I had a mentor at that age, I would have kicked ass, right? So
and Ada and I are like so immensely grateful because we're like, she came into our lives and we were like, oh my gosh.
well, you came to me.
Okay, yes. Fate happened. And we were like, now we have like not only a mentor, but someone that's been around the block, and we can kind of like pick her brain, and we can also like have a relationship with her. This is gonna be super cool. And so we did that, and we knew prior because of network marketing, the power of mentorship and the power of association and surrounding yourself with people that have the same vision as you. Like, you hear all that stuff, but have you tried to build a big business surrounded by haters? Like, that just pull you down? Do you ever have those friends that just text you on a random Wednesday and they're like, hey bro, I'm proud of you. Way to keep killing it. Keep going. Like, that's the type of relationship that happens, and it fuels you. You get that text and you're like, I'm going to go kick ass today because someone else believes in me. Try and build something without people that believe in you. Like, anyway, that's my tangent.
That's your
So, what did your first month look like when you started CWG? Like, did you have everything to... Okay, you already answered that financially. But
tears.
Yeah, your first month, tears?
Tears.
Just tears.
Tears. Because I am the type of person, or was the type of... I guess I still am, who needs stability. I always had a steady paycheck. Always.
Yeah.
Now, Jason had really always been on the sales side of things, always. So he worked off of that, that, I guess, what am I trying to say here? Commission based, like
I can't feel my leg. Okay, keep
I
going.
can't feel my leg when I'm with you.
Okay, Jason, commission.
So that was his norm, right? So when we met, and I'm like, okay, this guy doesn't know how much money he's making every month. And 1 month he can pay for his apartment, and the next month he's like, oh shit, I can't pay for my apartment.
That's sales for you.
Like, that's his life. And I'm like, no, man, I need to know that I have this much money coming in this time every month. So that was my thing. And so when we decided to make this jump, knowing that we had 2 kids to raise, and then a third one coming in a matter of days.
Oh my word.
Like,
you're like, the walls are like closing in
yes,
around you.
yes. And I just cried. And I'm like, what are we doing? And how do we find clients? And, we started with, just somebody who I don't know even how he found us, but somebody who wanted something. And we ended up like doing all of this work for like $200. And we're doing our very best. We didn't know everything, right? We were teaching ourselves. We are literally self-taught. And so, oh my gosh. So it started with this guy, and he gave us like $500, and we're trying to pay all of our rent and mortgage and stuff with, the money that we had.
It was such a similar journey.
Exactly. But he led us to our very first like retainer client.
Woo, that's when things get exciting.
Who has been with me since the beginning.
Wow.
So that's kind of where that went, and I think I went off on a tangent too, but
that's okay. No, you described from a bird's eye, like the amount of stress that you were going through your first month and what that looked like. And I had the same, because I got my layoff, I had 2 kids, and I was like, we have bills to pay, we have credit card payments, we have all these different things, and I was like, when do I file this as an LLC? Do I wait a little bit to see if it's even profitable? Because I started a pressure washing business, bought $2,000 of equipment, and then made $0.
Oh,
Zero.
no.
And so I was like, I don't want to spend the money to form this as an LLC when this could flop on me. And so we went for a while like unregistered, which I probably shouldn't. IRS, close your ears.
No, not that big of a deal. You were a sole proprietor at that point. It's just...
So like we didn't have that together. We didn't have a mentor. We were totally winging it. I was learning how to use a camera. We had finances everywhere. And I was like, so that's 2 business owners now that like our shit was not together. So like, just do it. Just move forward and like learn as you go and be adaptable. So this is kind of a...
But hold on a minute.
Yeah.
You are in your first year.
Yes.
And yes, these past 2 months have been bomb because...
Hella bomb.
Hella bomb.
Hella bomb, bro.
We are meeting some of the coolest people, right? But you're still out there like taking jobs for $200, $400, like way under your worth.
Sometimes.
Why?
That is not my rate.
No, it is not his rate because I mentored him and told him he's worth more. But I mean, that's what I'm talking about is chasing money, right? Because you have to feed your kids, and as a business owner, and you're literally just trying to get by and make sure your kids have food. And sometimes you don't eat in order to make sure your kids have food.
Yep. Everything you just said reminded me so much of my own parents.
Okay, so, but talk about getting through those months. It's not just the first month,
that's
man.
literally my question too. Is like, what kept you going when life threw shit at you? Like, what was like, when life threw an obstacle at you? What was like, okay, that happened. What's going to move me forward? Like, what were you telling yourself in your brain that's like, I don't have a choice?
Mindset.
Like, yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing until now. But I've always been very, I want to use this word correctly, I guess, open and understanding of the things around me, right? So it was mindset. Like I would see myself being able to pay,
so there's a positive dream.
Exactly. I was constantly putting that positive dream in front of me, even though the fear was still here, right? I was still
not chased and you're chasing.
Exactly. And it felt constantly like this thing was trying to scratch out of my chest and like
I can speak to that too.
It was like, seriously, my body and my soul and my mind and my heart were like butting heads. So it was really hard to keep going. So I had to just keep telling myself, everything's going to be okay. And Jason actually had a lot to do with that, because I am very, sparkly, and Jason's like, down to the ground, Erica, get off the clouds. So he helped me through those moments, but man, it was terrifying because we had nothing to start with.
And like, I think that when I talk about like the evenings and in the mornings, to me, like when you're an entrepreneur, like it takes your entire brain, like in the first year. Like I can attest to, like, even my wife, it annoys her sometimes. It's like, I say that respectfully. Yes, but
she's
like,
the best.
She's amazing. I wake up and the first thing I think about is, are the bills going to get paid today?
Yep.
Are the kids taken care of?
Yep.
What's the status on this client?
Yep.
Should that be the thought that occurs? How about like brush your teeth, Spencer? How about like go meditate for a little bit? That should be my thought. But your
how
first year,
beautiful this day is, and I'm so grateful for being able to get out of bed.
Dad and a husband, and instead it's like, where are your retainer clients at? Do you have enough to make this month? Then you go to bed, wondering the same thing. A lot of times I'm editing 2 a.m. Whatever it is, and like you have to be okay with that your first year, because that's just what it is.
That's the hustle.
You're learning to put boundaries like down with your clients. You're learning your worth. You're learning what your packages is. You're learning what your deliverables are. These are all things that you learn as you go. You can't just like wake up, know that you're starting a business, and be like, oh, it's just gonna magically fall on me that like I know exactly what my offer is, who I'm talking to, what my pricing structure looks like, and how to draw boundaries. That's just, I slept on it and that just happened. Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's man, it weighs on your poor little heart. I mean, you're definitely a lot, younger and less brilliant than I am. So maybe your heart doesn't hurt so bad. But no, I saw where they started when I met them.
Yeah.
But I told about lack of confidence, self-worth. Like I talk about this all the time on my podcast.
Yeah, I think that for me it was like remembering what it was like to be employed, even when shit was really hard within Nomad. And I was like, I could have a total shit show of a day today and have everything go wrong, but it's still better than my best day when I was like, someone owned me. And then I have like this sense of pride that like boils up of like, I own my time. And there's like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm proud of myself. There's self-compassion, all these different things. And then again, what kept me going when life threw shit at me, remembering, I wanted to bring my wife home from work. I wanted her to be a full-time mom. I didn't want her to like, I'm watching the kids from 6 to 2, whatever her hours were, I forgot. And then she's downstairs taking calls from angry Karens that like wanted credits for whatever it was. And like, I'm holding my daughter, which I love raising. I love my kids so much. But I was like, my wife is such a good nurturer. I want her to be in this spot. She wants to be a full-time mom. This is like what's going to fulfill her. And I was like, we got to get to that point. It was actually a really funny thing too, because we were on like a car ride, and I just kind of like holding her leg, and we were just driving, and she's like, yeah, I think it's time that I come home. And I was like, I'd fought her on this previously, because like finances and bills and credit cards. And I just had no fight. It was the weirdest thing. It was like meant to happen. I just kind of looked at her. I was like, okay. And I was like, our income's going to cut. This is actually a really funny story. Our income cut in half by that decision. But we were like, now that you're home, our kids get a Christmas present. Their freaking mom is home. Like, that's what's happening. Within 3 days of making that decision, because we were working with Erica at this point, we had a call from a client that was a retainer client. And they replaced her entire income that she had within 3 days of quitting. So we had no income loss, and she was home with the kids. And I was like, I just wanted to boil up and cry. I was like, God, if you're up there, thank you. Like that it makes me emotional. I get all these goosebumps talking about it. But I'm like, God's looking out for us.
You knew exactly what you wanted, though. Here's the thing: is you knew exactly what you wanted, and you saw it. Like you didn't see it before because I think of fear, right? I think
totally.
Fear. But now it's like all of a sudden you had this mind shift change. Oh my God, what I was about to say was funny.
Mindset shift.
Thanks. And you brought that upon it. Like you need to recognize who you are and the value that you bring and the fact that you are creating this because it's what you want.
It's easy to forget that, I think, but it's a nice reminder. And you're right. Like, thank you for the kind words. And I think that everyone that's probably watching this can remember that, like, when you work hard like that stuff happens and you're worthy of it. And I suffer a lot from imposter syndrome. Good things happen to me and I'm like, why me?
Yep.
Like, why do I deserve this? And then I remember all this hard work that I put in and I'm like, logically, this makes sense why this happened to me.
They're not gonna they're not gonna like what I did. I'm not good enough.
Yeah, like, oh, that little tiny mess up that I did, they're gonna notice it and they're gonna think I'm a total phony and they're gonna want a refund, blah, blah, blah.
Or if they find some sort of an edit or an error, it's like, oh my gosh, I wasn't worth building this, even though I have done, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of websites
received
and
nothing
portals.
but positive feedback.
Exactly.
But you see that little mistake.
Yep. And you're like, I am not worthy of this. So if anybody, well, I'm not supposed to look at these cameras. If you don't know what imposter syndrome is, I do have a podcast specifically about that. So, learn about it and we'll keep going.
It's very real. Did you have, you've actually answered this several times, but I want you to go more in depth about it. Did you have a mentor or a group of peers that forced you to be better in a kind way? Not like,
oh, yeah,
be better, but like, hey, let me push you gently this way, but in a firm, loving way.
Without question. So we somehow met this CPA who, when we first started, he really helped us understand, the financial and the LLCs and the S Corps and stuff. And he mentored us. He did our taxes for free, like the first 2 or 3 years. He was just amazing.
Wow.
And so that was my first mentor. And then, I didn't really think mentors would do anything. And it wasn't until about a year and a half ago that I met somebody. His name is Mike Aguilero. I don't know if I butchered that every time, but that really taught me, again, mindset. And the fact that I was hanging on to fear, which is why I couldn't allow the business to grow. It was the imposter syndrome. I wasn't worthy of a growing business or of having multiple clients.
Can I politely interject?
Yes.
That's like, I hear all the time from people on like TikTok and other business owners. They're like, you will never build your business bigger than what you believe you can. I thought that was complete fruity fluff motivational mindset stuff. 100% true. You will not break a 5K month unless you are mentally in a spot where you're like, I can do 10, 15K a month and I'm worthy of it.
Exactly.
You won't break that point because you won't stop yourself before 5K because you're like, oh yeah, I'm not worthy. I have to stop.
Yeah.
And you think it's not real. Try and start a business. You'll see how real it is.
Yeah. So, these mentors. And then I actually worked with a guy named Joe Evangelisti. These guys have the coolest names and I can never say them right.
I was like, that's a
I worked with him, so I was part of his marketing company. I was a, CMO for hire, pretty much. And this man is like, he gets it. You know what I mean? He just gets his shit. And it's like, I'd watch his videos and I'm like, it's like he was talking to me. And I learned something every day. And this whole life of gratitude and kindness and jumping, head first into the dark and not being afraid what's coming out on the other side. Like, it started with those guys, and it's probably like 2 years ago. I've been in business for 15 years, but until 2 years ago, I didn't recognize my true value. And that was all based off of out of the support of mentors.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. So it's going to sound really funny. When I was selling t-shirts out of the mall, I was like 23, 24. I don't even know. I had terrible time perception. And essentially, I saw a whole bunch of like people on Instagram and TikTok and all these different things. And I was like, they were like, I'm selling a Shopify course. I'll be your mentor. I'll do these different things. So I knew mentors were out there, but that picture of mentorship made me think that they were phony. Mm-hmm. And then I entered into the network marketing space, which I learned a lot of lessons, but there's the reason that I don't do that anymore. And the biggest things that I learned were power of association and mentorship. And I tied into a mentor every single day for 3 years. Okay, not every single day. I had my mess ups, but like I was pretty dialed in. And when you surround yourself with people, when you talk to people that are way further than you every day, and you're asking them questions and they're willing to have like a mutual symbiotic, if you will, relationship with you and communicate, you will multiply the size of your business 10x just by learning the lessons that they did from them telling you about them instead of you having to fall on your face to do them.
Yes.
You're still going to fall on your face, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
But you're going to really mitigate the amount. And like, again, like with her mentoring us on a very real level, no clue how to file an LLC, no clue how taxes work, no clue how contracting and invoicing and all these different things until we asked her, and her, the kindness of her heart, and Jason and all these different people. And now I know things that I didn't know 2 months ago because I was willing to ask. And here's the important part. You can lead a man into knowledge, but you can't make him think. You have to apply it. And you have to be willing to be a sponge. You have to listen. And when they say stuff, even the shit that's hard that you don't want to hear, hey, Spencer, you're awful at this. Hey, you spoke to this client incorrectly. Don't put your walls up. Don't be like, oh, you don't know anything. I'm perfect, blah, blah, blah. You know what? You're right. I messed up there and I want to improve. I'm going to implement something different going forward because of the feedback that you've given me. And when you say stuff like that and you're willing to learn, oh my word, the amount of growth that you're going to have and your income is going to explode.
Okay, so that's what that was my next point, is by asking somebody and their kindness, yeah, because I'm, again, a badass. No, I'm kidding.
Absolutely.
It was the way he approached me. It was like, this guy is awesome. And so it's actually my honor and bringing value. So that, I mean, every win for you is a win for me because I'm bringing value to you and your wife and your family and helping you achieve these dreams. But when you started listening to me, what happened to your income?
So to give you guys some actual numbers, because I'm willing to kind of dump this out onto the internet, Nomad was bringing in $1,500, $200, $2,000 a month when we first met her. After 2.5 months of listening and being mentored, at this point, it's like tripled in 2 months.
And it's going to continue to grow.
And it's projected because my belief now, going back to belief, I know at this point that I can have a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 business if I want to. I'm developing my self-worth to get to that point because just being transparent, like it's hard to see yourself as that type of person that can handle that type of a business. Everyone says that they want it, but then if they have it, they're like, do I deserve this? So she's helping me develop my self-image to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I might be able to have a large business like this. And this is how I should scale it smart. Because if someone dumped right now $20,000 of work onto me right now, money's cool, yeah. Do I have the team that'll handle that? Probably not. Like I can handle a lot of work right now. But do you think you would have
chased the money before you started?
Sign the dotted line. Yes, I want your money. And then they're like, cool, where's the deliverables? I'm like, that'll be 3 months. And they're like, how about no? Like you have to do this in a smart way. So I wouldn't have known that if it weren't for mentorship and if it weren't for, and it's not even just Erica too, but other people in our lives, like an Ethan Adams, like a Nick Fonger, like all these other mentors, AJ Schrouder in Utah, he's an awesome videographer. There's several people I'm not naming, Danielle.
It sounds like he just won an Oscar.
I know. There are people that are just brilliant in their space, and literally, like, I even have a group chat with these different videographers, and I will post work there before it goes to a client sometimes, and I'm like, how is this? My family on the group chat, they're like, oh, it's amazing, it's really good job. And then like the group chat, they're like, underexposed, fix the composition on this shot. Every single time it ends up better because I listen, and they're the friends that are like, hey, I love you, man, and I'm proud of you, but you can do better here. And I'm only telling you this because I know you're going to listen and I know you're going to apply it going forward. Be that person too to the other people that are around you.
Oh, hell
They're asking you for honest feedback. Don't blow smoke at them.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I love you as a friend. You're amazing. You need to work on this.
And that's just kind criticism. It's kind suggestions. You know what I mean? It's support, man. It's a tribe again, and tribe. We help each other. It's your surrounding, the people that make you better.
What were some of the hardest times and most rewarding times within your first year/few years in business?
Hardest times were losing clients that we depended on their money for and not thinking it's gonna. I mean, if you lose $500, you can't pay your rent. Right? It's like you can't pay your electricity and your water, or you have to choose between, paying for your son's, football club because that's the most important thing in the world to him, or, paying your car payment. So that was like the scariest part for me.
Those are very real decisions.
Exactly. The most rewarding part for me is one of my clients for 8 years was a childhood cancer foundation. And I've always known social. Like, I was one of the first people on social platforms. I've always been interested in it. But there was a young boy who he had cancer. He'd had cancer by the time he was 5, right?
Oh my goodness.
He had cancer multiple times until the age of 5. And at this point, his kidneys were failing. And it was because he was on this liquid form of a medication. And there was a pill form of the medication, which they thought would help him, and it would keep his, I think, kivers. I don't know if it was kidney or liver at this point. I don't remember. But he needed this medication, and it wasn't FDA approved, and the pharmaceutical company wasn't going to give it to him. And there's been like 380 requests for compassionate use for this medication.
Oh my word.
And so I was asked to get this out on social media, right? I was just asked to do it. The guy who asked me had no idea what he was talking about, right? He was a 70-year-old man, 68-year-old man, right? But he didn't get social. So I started posting, I think it was like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And I needed warriors. I was on Facebook. I was on Twitter. I was posting 11, 15, 18, 22 times a day. And everywhere. And I was reading comments and I was responding to them. Like, I was creating a viral fight for this kid, right? And it started reaching, overseas. It was in Italy and Germany, in France. There was Ireland, which I don't even know if they have internet there somehow. And it reached 1.2 million people in 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
And between that 3 days, the FDA and the pharmaceutical company and our, co-founder of the foundation came up with a plan in order to do a clinical trial for the drug. And within 3 days, he got his medication, and he lived
a
few more years. But the thing is we had this campaign of, pharmaceutical company, you need to save this kid. Save this kid. I have organizations willing to give you $50,000 for those 2 pills. Save this kid, right? And then something happened. Now, I feel bad because they actually had FBI had to help them and get them in a hiding, and they had to turn off their phones, and they had to turn off their emails. And so that was not my intention. It was to hurt that pharmaceutical company. But within 3 days, it was actually my birthday when I found out. And again, it was early in the morning, and I saw something on Twitter that said he's getting his meds. I'm like, so I call Richard because he's the only person he's one of the first people who would know. And he's like, yes, the medications are on their way. And I fell to my knees and I cried. And I cried. And I'm like, I did that. I did that by myself on my iPhone and my Facebook and my Twitter. And
that's rewarding. Oh my word.
It was the greatest feeling to know that I started I went viral before viral was really cool, and it made a difference. And I think the clinical trial ended up saving 86 other lives.
Oh my gosh.
And it was all through the starting of one post that said, "Save Josh. This child is dying and needs this medication." And that post started going here and here. And then so I always tell clients, start with as much content, posting with as much content as you can. But then you watch the numbers and you determine, there's a whole part that we can get on another day.
No,
But
that's fine.
that was the most rewarding for me, I think, at this point.
No, that
I got some cool stuff going on, but that one was the one that,
that would definitely
changed
be
the
like
world.
a feather in your hat to carry with you, like with a ton of pride.
Yes.
Let's see if this
What
is
about you?
a sleeping laptop. So what I was most scared of, or the hardest things that I had to deal with as a business owner is, as anyone that's about to start any sort of business venture knows, to start your business, you either need a loan or you need to work a corporate job for 3 to 5 years, put away a shit ton of money into savings, pardon my French, and
I don't think that was French. I think it was English.
and take that nest egg that you've developed over the last 3 to 5 years and invest it into your business and hope to God that that business works. A loan or that. Those are your, or an investor, but still a loan.
Or you
so
plunge in with $200
I didn't
in your
have that
bank
option
account
because I was laid off. I didn't have the option because I was laid off. And I was like, I cannot keep my, I'm not saying this to be egocentric, my skills were evolving quicker than my equipment could keep up with because I was filming on my phone.
Well, yeah.
And we already had, like, I'm just being transparent, like, we already had some debt, but then, like, we used credit cards to, like, fund equipment and doing, tripods and gimbals and gas to get to here and here. And, like, all of a sudden these numbers start to rack up in the negative and you're like, am I even making progress? Like, and you have all these, like, these terrifying nights of sleeping and you're like, we started this business and now these numbers are negative. Like, is this even doing anything? And so you have these thoughts. And then of course, like, now we're making money and things were, like, really starting to go in the other direction. But there was, like, a 2 or 3 month period where I was like, is this even gonna work? Like, did I just put us even more into the hole after being laid off? Like, you have those thoughts and you have to deal with that as a business owner.
Especially when those months get tough, right? And you're like, I have to pay my
Especially
team.
for the men that are, like, talking, like, that are on this podcast too, because innately you want to be a provider and you want to be the man that your family can depend on. And so when you go to sleep at night and you're like, potentially I'm not the provider, potentially I just made them even worse. I know that's, like, really violent and, like, hard to think about. Like, am I making them worse off because of these financial decisions that I'm making? And that makes you go that much more all in because you wake up and you're like, I have no freaking choice but to make this work. I'm reaching out to 10 people today because I don't have a choice. Like, what are you going to tell your wife? Like, sorry, I maxed this credit card out for you.
You can't buy presents for our kids on Christmas.
But
now.
also, like, I lost, like, I'm not going to go out and find clients because I'm lazy and I don't want to do that. But I just spent this money. Like, you have no choice. There's your hustle. Like, but then there's obviously, like, the positive dream and, like, you're looking at things that you want, the materialistic things, the lifestyle. And so, yeah, that was the hardest thing for me. Just even just the last 3 or 4 months. It's just like, yes, I put money on credit cards, but it paid off. You know why? Because I made it. I made it work.
Made it. Did you see? He was like, serious.
I made it work. Like, yes, there's some luck that falls into that, but you are radically in charge of your own results.
Absolutely.
You are radically in charge of what you do with your 24 hours.
Yeah.
Make it happen. So that was
We
the
worked
hardest.
our asses off.
That's just what you come to expect. Like, I don't want to sound like this egocentric, like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Like, I make all this money. I don't make a ton of money, but that's what it takes to, like, make your business work the first year. As far as the most rewarding
and maybe
things,
third and maybe
probably
fourth.
The most rewarding probably was actually this month, was bringing my wife home from work. With network marketing, we dreamed about that for 3 years, but because the business model that we were in wasn't conducive to the goals that we had, we felt like we were spinning our wheels. And so finally having that goal that we've been dreaming about for 3.5 years, like, it still doesn't even feel real to me when I wake up. I'm like, I cannot believe that we've done that. We've been talking about it for so long that now I have to find a new thing to talk about in the car when we're dream casting together. We're like, we did that thing we've been talking. What are we? Buy a home? Like,
that's next.
I know.
Yep.
That's next.
That's next. That's his next vision.
And so, like, there's the hard, but there's also, like, damn, that's rewarding. And so that was that for me.
Paying off my truck, paying off like a $30,000 truck. That was like, you know what I mean? Like, having the opportunity to do that. And now it's helped us tremendously. You know what I mean? So the most rewarding is bringing your wife home.
Yes, absolutely that so far. Well, and then, like, there's some, like, time freedom thing. Like, I can wake up at, she gives me shit all the time. She'll send me, like, texts from Marco Polo at, like, 10 a.m. And I'm like, I earned this sleep. Like, yes, I'm going to wake up earlier. And that's, like, an effort that I'm trying to make.
9:30.
But, like, when I worked in customer service, it was 7 o'clock and I was up by 6:45. And I'm like, I cannot wait for the day but I can sleep in. And now it's here. I'm like, I'm going to freaking sleep in because I earned this. Yes, did I wake up today earlier? Yes, but that's just because like sometimes they call us for that. I had to drive to Wyoming. So there's that. How intentional were you about living life by design so that you had a roadmap to reverse engineer? Did you ever have like, I want to be here. This is what that looks like. Here's what the work habit looks like to get to that point. These are the actions I need to take today to get to that point.
When did The Secret come out?
What's
Google it. Google it. The Secret. Seriously, I want to know
Is
the
that
answer.
like a movie?
It's a book, movie, audio book.
The
Secret. When did it come out?
November 2006.
That is when it happened for me. I listened to this book or to this audio book, and I listened again, and I'm like, okay, money comes easily and frequently. You know, I would write checks, right, to myself from the universe. I would write positive things and stickies all around the walls. Like, I listened to this audiobook over and over and over again until I started to believe that I can create what I want in this world. Now, that belief was more on the surface level than it was on the heart, gut, I know this with everything I have level, right? So I did. I felt that I could do anything. And it honestly led me to the ability to manifest a house. And that is God's truth. And there's another podcast episode that talks about how I manifested a house. That's all mindset and knowing, you know, what you want. And so that's when it started for me, was with that specific book.
That taught you how to manifest and reverse engineer and create life by design.
Exactly. Now I have my mentors, who absolutely teach me that and who keep me accountable. Sometimes you're as business owners, you are so busy taking care of your clients that you forget to take care of yourself.
That's so true.
And your own business. It's like we are web design masters, but yet our website, I don't even know if the form works. I think it does. We've never got leads from our website. It's always been referrals, but so we forget to do that stuff because we're focusing so much on our clients.
No, I agree with that, especially like even in regard to like micro content for me. I'm like, have I even put up my own micro content
It took you a little while.
So, this will end up being that, but just like, I also fall short in that category sometimes. But yeah, I, as far as for me in living life by design, a little bit of it was that taught to me the last 4 years with the different industries that I was in. But I think that I was afraid to live life by design previously because the vehicles that I was using to get the income and the lifestyle that I wanted weren't yielding the results that I wanted. And so I was afraid to live life by design because I didn't want to be disappointed. So I didn't dream and I didn't live life by design.
Oh.
And so when I initially started Nomad and I met the people that I did, and I was taught to do that again, especially within the last 2 or 3 months, and the income tripled. I am now, within the last 2 months, like, again, car talks with my wife. I'm like, you know that thing that we've been wanting? Like, we might actually be able to make that happen now. Like, what does that look like? What income does that, after we pay this person, taxes, savings, blah, blah, what number do we want to reach? And what steps is it going to take to get there? And now I have a belief to it because I'm like, holy shit, this might actually happen. And
well, okay, hold on. What did you just say?
Holy shit, this might actually happen.
This might actually happen.
This
right
will.
Now, right there, you are limiting your belief.
See, I'm not perfect, and I'm trying to get out of it.
There you go. But I'm always doing this and correcting him. So I what? I
will, yeah.
There you go. There's no doubt in your mind.
See, this comes back to like, you're not going to build a business bigger than what you believe. I'm not going to get the result unless I already believe that I have it.
Exactly.
And so there's that. So to kind of close this out, what advice would you have for other entrepreneurs and business owners watching this in their first year? Just like a few bullets of like, hey, if you're in your first year, hang in there. Here's some tips.
Well, now we have a totally different world. So my suggestion would be find other individuals in your industry and follow what they're doing, and find somebody who you can talk to. Or not even talk to, but watch their videos. Find somebody who is mentoring you and teaching you the steps to get there, right? Yep. There's so many videos out there. So if you're looking for, if you're trying to figure out how to post on Facebook because you said I'm a social media manager, now you have that ability, right? Before, where we just had to learn it. So I'd say search the shit out of what you're trying to do before you do it.
How do you begin to establish a relationship with a mentor? And I know from my perspective, like, if you're trying to implement what we're saying here and trying to find a mentor, do not DM someone and say, hey, will you mentor me? And not have, you have to come to them with value.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
And when you come to them with value, all of a sudden you're an asset to them, and you're not asking them a damn thing. You're not, hey, will you mentor me? Hey, can I do this? Can I do? You're like, how can I add value to you? And just keep doing that. Don't be transactional. Don't do this expecting something in return. It might not. They're naturally inclined, out of the kindness of their heart most of the time, when you've brought genuine value and a friendly relationship to them, to start sowing back into you as you've sown into them.
So that's exactly how we met. He reached out to me and said, this is what I do. I have a client. Would you like to talk about, possibly doing work? So he brought a value to me, somebody I've never met in my life.
Correct. Yep.
He brought a value to me, and we started building that relationship, that synchronicity, because we worked together on this project. And ultimately, it led to me providing value to him. He wasn't asking me to mentor him.
Not once.
No, not once. Now, he would ask a question, what would you do about this? But it's not, will you take your time and mentor me and keep me going and message me at 7:30 in the morning and make sure that I'm out of bed because I should be hustling by now and on 6 calls. He never asked for that shit. He just said, hey, I have something for you.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? I have something for you. And it was just unintentional. It was just kindness and let's take care of each other. And even
now, it's not a trend. Now that if someone were to ask me, does Erica mentor me? Absolutely, she does. That's a relationship we have. But we're not there's no unit of measurement to the amount of value that you add to each other.
He provides
I'm
so
going to
much value.
I'm going to edit all her shit. And I'm not even going to think twice because she's adding immense value to me and she adds value to me. And it's not well, I've added this amount of value to you, so you owe me value over here.
Exactly.
It's
We're building
how
a
about
website
we just
for
pretend
him
we are one
yeah.
and we just do our thing because I know that there's going to be fruits that come from that and from both directions, and we're just going to keep supporting each other and not keeping count of the tab.
Yeah.
Tab.
It's exactly it. It's not. Now we have partnered up because we trust and believe in each other, and I will bend over backwards for you as you will bend over backwards for me. So that is what makes us such a good agency, whether it's two businesses under one, is because we are on the same page.
So there's a
started
with
that. Yes, exactly.
There's a blueprint there. So what you should be hearing if you're trying to implement this is go find someone with the results that you want or that you're trying to learn from. And don't go into the relationship thinking, I'm going to get something from them. Mm-hmm. Go into it I'm going to build a genuine connection here because I want to know a little bit about what they know. And I'm going to just keep serving on them until they choose if they want to serve with me or not. And if they don't, find someone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Well, I think that wraps us up.
That's perfect.
All right, here's another Sofa-sode. And if any links or whatever's.
All the things.
Subscriptions, the like and share and subscribe, whatever. I never say that.
Do the follow.
Yeah, that thing. Do whatever it takes to make other people see this. Actually, if it brought you value, then please share.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be
awesome. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Out of here.
Deuces.
What?
Wow, what a great episode. I hope you had as much fun as I did. If you want more of this goodness, make sure you subscribe so that you get notifications for future podcasts. And if you found value from this, please share it with others. You can visit our website at cwgdigital.com. This is Erica Bailey. I am your host, and I will see you next time.